Have you ever thought about transforming your backyard, balcony, or even a small corner of your kitchen into a living, fertile, and regenerative space? Sustainable gardening at home offers exactly that. The possibility of growing healthy food, vibrant flowers, and aromatic herbs, all in a conscious way and in harmony with nature. Much more than just a hobby, sustainable gardening at home is an act of care for the planet and for yourself. In this video, you will discover the step-by-step process of how to start and care for a sustainable gardening at home. Sustainable gardening at home is more than a trend. It is a conscious and regenerative way of growing plants at home, respecting natural cycles and caring for the planet from your own backyard, balcony, or urban garden. By adopting sustainable gardening at home, the gardener becomes a guardian of life, cultivating not only flowers, vegetables, or herbs, but also ecological balance and environmental health. Unlike conventional gardening, which often relies on synthetic fertilizers, chemical pesticides, and excessive water consumption, sustainable gardening at home values practices that restore the soil, conserve natural resources, and protect local biodiversity. While the conventional approach tends to deplete soil nutrients and eliminate beneficial organisms, sustainable gardening at home promotes a living, resilient, and productive ecosystem. The principles of sustainable gardening at home are rooted in 5 pillars: care for the soil, valuing biodiversity, conscious use of water, use of natural inputs, and respect for the ecological cycles of the environment. Rather than fighting against nature, sustainable gardening at home seeks to imitate it, creating systems that self-regulate and evolve over time. The importance of sustainable gardening at home goes far beyond aesthetics or small-scale food production. It is a practice deeply connected to the environmental, social, and emotional challenges of our time. By adopting sustainable gardening at home, the resident actively participates in a quiet yet powerful transformation, the regeneration of the planet starting from private spaces. The benefits of sustainable gardening at home are vast, tangible, and deeply integrated into daily life. From an environmental perspective, sustainable gardening at home directly contributes to strengthening local ecosystems. From an economic standpoint, sustainable gardening at home provides significant cost reduction. Socially and nutritionally, sustainable gardening at home ensures food security for the family while offering fresh, pesticide-free, and highly nutritious food. And in emotional and social terms, sustainable gardening at home is a balm for the mind and the heart. Gardening sustainably becomes a practice of presence, a daily ritual that connects body and spirit to the earth. After understanding what sustainable gardening at home is and why it's so worthwhile, the most anticipated moment arrives: getting your hands in the soil. Starting a sustainable home garden does not require major investments or large spaces. What truly matters is acting with awareness, observation, and respect for the environment you live in. With planning and care, it is possible to create a productive and regenerative ecosystem, even on balconies, small backyards, or urban garden beds. Next, we will explore, step by step, how to bring your own sustainable gardening at home to life. Choosing the location is one of the most strategic steps for the success of any sustainable gardening at home. The space needs to be functional for both the plants and the gardener. The first criterion to observe is sunlight. Most vegetables, herbs, and edible flowers require at least 4 to 6 hours of direct sunlight per day to thrive. This is especially true for crops commonly grown in home gardens, such as tomatoes, peppers, strawberries, and aromatic herbs like basil and rosemary. Observing the sun's path throughout the day and year helps identify which areas of the yard, balcony, or patio are most suitable for planting. It's important to remember that morning sun is gentler and more beneficial than the intense afternoon sun, especially in hotter regions. In addition to sunlight, a good sustainable gardening at home requires easy access to water. This doesn't necessarily mean having a sophisticated irrigation system, although it can be helpful. Ideally, the garden should be near a faucet, a rainwater harvesting system, or at least a source that makes regular watering easy and convenient. Gardens located far from the house or in hard-to-reach places tend to be forgotten, especially on busy days. One of the most important decisions when starting sustainable gardening at home is choosing the species and varieties to grow. For the garden to be truly sustainable, it's essential to work with nature, not against it. This starts with selecting plants that are adapted to your region's climate, soil type, and the specific conditions of the chosen site. Another key point in sustainable gardening at home is prioritizing varieties that are naturally more resistant to pests and diseases. This reduces the need for treatments and protects the garden's ecosystem. Some organic and heirloom seeds available on the market are already selected for their resilience. It's also essential to think about how the plants will coexist in the space. Sustainable gardening at home favors diversity and intercropping, the strategic cultivation of different species together. This practice improves soil use, hinders the spread of pests, and supports plant development. A classic and efficient example is the combination of tomatoes, basil, and carrots. Basil repels insects. Tomatoes provide partial shade for the carrots, and their roots occupy different soil layers. Other common combinations include lettuce with scallions or corn with climbing beans, practices that also work in small adapted areas. Soil nutrition is the heart of any sustainable gardening at home. Instead of relying on synthetic fertilizers that deplete microbial life and contaminate groundwater, sustainable home gardening relies on organic fertilization sources that nourish the soil and plants in a balanced and continuous way. A living, nourished, and well-structured soil is the foundation of a productive, healthy, and resilient garden. The first step to achieving fertile soil is implementing home composting. Fruit and vegetable scraps, eggshells, coffee grounds, and garden prunings, which would normally be discarded as waste, become nutrient-rich compost when properly decomposed. In sustainable gardening at home, this process closes the organic matter cycle. What remains returns to the earth as food. In addition to organic compost, sustainable gardening at home can also benefit from high-quality natural fertilizers, such as worm castings, bokashi, and aged manure. Another essential practice in soil nutrition management in sustainable gardening at home is crop rotation. Alternating the types of plants grown in the same area each season prevents the depletion of specific nutrients and breaks the cycle of pests and diseases. Efficiency in irrigation is one of the most important pillars of sustainable gardening at home. In regions where the climate is dry during part of the year, the rational use of water is essential to ensure the garden's sustainability. Even in places with good water availability, the waste of treated water can be avoided with small changes in the daily management of the home garden. In sustainable gardening at home, watering is not just about wetting the soil, it's about observing, feeling the ground, and acting with awareness. Whenever possible, methods that direct water straight to the roots should be prioritized, minimizing losses due to evaporation or surface runoff. Another fundamental principle of sustainable gardening at home is choosing the right times to water. Early morning and late afternoon are ideal, as the sun is gentler and evaporation is lower. This allows water to remain longer in the soil, improving absorption by the roots. Avoiding irrigation during the hottest hours of the day also prevents thermal shock to leaves and stems, especially in more sensitive crops. Additionally, sustainable gardening at home values the reuse of rainwater. Instead of relying exclusively on tap water, the sustainable gardener can install gutters that direct water to buckets, barrels, or cisterns, creating a simple collection system. In the context of sustainable gardening at home, pest and disease control is not done with aggressive chemical products, but rather with ecological intelligence and regenerative practices. The goal is not to eliminate all insects or fungi from the garden, but to create a balanced environment where biodiversity is so rich that pest outbreaks cannot take hold. One of the simplest and most effective strategies in sustainable gardening at home is the use of natural repellents. made from ingredients often already available in the kitchen. Solutions made with garlic, chili, or neem extract act as gentle repellents, keeping aphids, caterpillars, mealybugs, and other insects away without harming the plant or the environment. These preparations are easy to make at home and can be applied with spray bottles directly onto the leaves with moderate frequency. But the true strength of sustainable gardening at home lies in ecological prevention. Biodiverse gardens naturally attract natural enemies of pests, such as ladybugs, lacewings, praying mantises, and a wide variety of insect-eating birds. Planting flowers like calendula, nasturtium, fennel, and cilantro among the vegetables helps attract these allies to your space. The constant presence of pollinators and natural predators keeps the system in balance, preventing unwanted infestations. By choosing organic and ecological methods to protect their garden, the practitioner of sustainable gardening at home not only ensures healthier, residue-free food, but also protects the invisible life that sustains the entire productive chain, from the soil to the birds. This is how true sustainability blooms, through balance and awareness. Practicing sustainable gardening at home is about planting more than seeds. It's about cultivating balance, autonomy, health, and hope. Every step, no matter how small it may seem, contributes to a more sustainable world and a life more connected to natural cycles. It doesn't matter if you live in a house with a backyard or in an apartment in the city. There's always a place where life can flourish. And it all begins with a choice. So how about starting your sustainable gardening at home today? Up next, I'm sharing a video about how to grow organic vegetables, where I give tips on which species to plant according to the seasons, along with other incredibly valuable insights. See you soon. Let's move towards a bountiful earth.